Oh, so hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to this episode 23 of our Mind and Body Wellness Live Health Talk series, hosted by ourselves, Thriving Communities CIC. We're so glad you could join us today. And following her recent visit to South Wales, where she led a very well received silence retreat, we're absolutely delighted to have Sue Hindle back with us today as our guest speaker. Sue is a very accomplished and experienced teacher with the Art of Living Foundation and has been practicing and teaching meditation for over 40 years, I believe. She's travelled the world delivering wellness workshops across cultures and communities from Ireland to Israel, Pakistan to Australia, all with the aim of making ancient wisdom and practical tools accessible to us all. So today she'll be introducing us to Sahaj Samadhi Meditation, a powerful and effortless mantra-based meditation practice that supports mental clarity, emotional resilience, and deep rest. So please let us welcome her. And thank you very much for agreeing to come along today, Sue.
Thanks, Esther. Wow, that's quite an introduction. Hi, yes. Well, thank you for having me. And hi to Fiona. Nice to see you. I think we met. Did we meet briefly at the silence?
We did, yes.
We did, yes. I thought we did. Oh, and you cooked for us, I think.
That's right, yes.
That was, yes, I remember because it was absolutely delicious.
She's a master chef, she is.
Well,
she's great.
I keep it simple, but...
Yes, indeed. No, simple is good, but some people can do less well with simple too. No, it was fabulous. So here we are. Fiona, I think you've actually got Fiona, if you want to stay on unmute, because there's only the three of us at this point, and it's so much nicer to be seeing somebody and having a bit of an exchange as well. So yeah, and I think you've got a bit of a background in this field as well, if I'm not mistaken.
In Raj Yoga meditation, yes.
Yes, I think I remember hearing that. So yeah, so I don't know about Raj Yoga meditation. This is obviously Sahaj Samadhi, which so where to start? The beginning is always a good enough space, isn't it? So yeah, so as Esther was saying, I've actually been practicing personal mantra meditation since July 1979, through all my adult life, pretty much. And I have to say, it was transformative, and I would not have stayed with it and wasted my time in all those intervening years if it had not been absolutely spectacular. I mean, it really does what it says on the tin. Okay, what it claims for it works. And that's why I've spent my time both practicing it and teaching it, as well as other meditation approaches like, silence retreats and such like. So, first of all, questions, I suppose, are: one, what is a mantra meditation? A mantra is simply a sound that's usually adopted from the Sanskrit language, Sanskrit is the most ancient language in the world, and it's very particular and unusual because it's a language where the sound, the vibration, carries the meaning and the impact. So in many of the other languages, the sound is attached intellectually to a meaning. So a cat, we know intellectually that word cat means that animal, right? And so this is an intellectual learning and an intellectual language. Well, with Sanskrit, it's very much vibrational. The sound is in the vibration. And it became recognized by the ancient rishis thousands of years ago, from the Vedic era, that different sounds had different effects on the body. So some sounds could be very, very helpful for the body and have one kind of effect, and other sounds could be actually very unpleasant for the body, or harmful, or destructive, or jangling. You know, some sounds, they really jangle you, and some sounds you think, well, this is how Sanskrit works. And so they developed this meditation practice where individuals are given a personally selected Sanskrit sound that they can use on a personal, private, silent meditation. No no technical things needed, no iPlayers, speakers, streaming, nothing. You don't need to go online. You don't need any gadget of any sort. You can simply sit wherever you find yourself and be with your mantra. And so what is the effect of the mantra? You see, human consciousness is ultimately profound. I'm sure you've heard it said that the human mind is infinite qualities and capacities that we have no knowledge of. And consciousness, our sense of being, is all bound up in that. So we have a layer which is simply mind. We have another layer which is intellect, which is our thinking. And then there's the body, there's various layers, but the most subtle one is the self, the consciousness. And the thing is, in everyday life, we tend to, in our activities and with all the noise going on and all the bombarding of sound and vision and screens and blah, 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 we're very much just running on the surface. If you imagine the consciousness to be deep as the ocean, right? In everyday life, we're just skidding along the top here. If this is the ocean, these are just the waves on the surface, yes? And we have no experience of what is going on down here, right? Many people go through their whole lives and they don't even know there is a down there, let alone go visit, yes? So what the mantra does is it enables the mind to settle into the deeper levels of itself. Yes, the mantra, it's this subtle sound from the Sanskrit enables the mind to settle down into itself. And when you reach these deeper levels of consciousness, what happens is, well, first of all, the body takes much deeper rest. You can get deeper rest in meditation than you can in sleep. And this is very well established with infinite amounts of research. And you can notice in meditation that you settle so still that you're almost not breathing at all. This is because the body is so still, its requirement for oxygen is minimal, so it doesn't take a breath. Yes? So it brings deep rest, deep relaxation. But also what we do is we carry our impressions, everything that happens to us in our life, that happens to us in our day. This is an impression on the mind that is stored and hooked in, right? And these can be difficult experiences at work or whatever. And we store these up and they get settled into the subconscious or whatever. I won't go into all the technical terms for this, but let's say it settles into the subconscious and we hold this stuff. Well, in the mantra meditation, as the mind settles to these levels, it allows the system to release these stresses, these anxieties that have accumulated during the day. Yeah? They've just come up. And so you're letting go of all of that stuff, so you're not carrying it forward in the same way. Of course you remember it, but the system isn't hanging on to it. How can I show this? You know, we hang on to stuff, don't we? So with the mantra, it comes up. So the memory of it is there, but not the impression, not because we carry our trauma and our stress in our system, right? I'm sure there's a lot of stuff out there about that. It's the field of psychoneuroimmunology, right? We carry our emotional stresses as a neuropeptide lodged in our system. And this is how we accumulate blocks and stuff. This is a huge and fascinating story. But again, when the mind settles to these levels, it enables these neuropeptides, these accumulate to release. The body wants to release it. And meditation is a practice where you give the body what it wants to let it go. So this is so helpful. And as a mother, a full-time working mother, right? 3 kids, and I was a litigation solicitor, right? And it was really, really hard keeping it all going. And the day would be utterly, profoundly exhausting. And I'd get home utterly, oh my goodness, finished, you know, drained. If I sat with my mantra meditation for 20 minutes, as soon as I got into the house, you know, just hung up the coat, sat and meditated before I did anything else. I'd sit there and I'd go donk and just meditate. And then 20 minutes later, I'd come up, right as anything, and then I'd have the energy to go on for the rest of the evening, you know, helping with homework, cooking the meal, da-di-da-di-da, whatever I had to do. But the energy level and the quality of interaction would stay high until 10. However, if I came home and thought, oh, I just can't do it, I'm hungry, I'm just going to sit and eat, I would be an absolute zombie on the couch by 8 o'clock. And I wouldn't be able to, I just wasn't there in terms of kids and maternal responsibilities and all that. You know, I was just drained. So, so the mantra meditation, it's this technique that you get that brings these benefits, and you get to, the recommendation is that you meditate twice a day for 20 minutes. 20 minutes is long enough to take you down there, let the mind settle, release a good amount of impressions and stresses and things, and to bring you back out without getting too caught up in things or whatever. It's been checked and it's found that 20 minutes is the optimal amount of time. And twice a day gives you a good start to the morning. And as I've suggested, a good break between work and the evening. And it was so great. Actually, that was another thing, is I found that if I did the meditation, also it was like a curtain had dropped between the day and the evening. And it's like I was fresh and new for the evening. And I wasn't just my head in work and all that stuff. That sort of had gone to the background and I could now be focused here. And that was so essential. Yeah. So I think that's Sahaj Samadhi. There's an infinite amount of research to prove the benefits. I'm not a scientist, I'm a lawyer, right? But I can give a link that you can go and see. Actually, I think I've got it up at the moment. I think it's open here. Let me have a look. Let me see if it'll.
Do you want me to help you share screen?
No, I can just read it, actually.
Oh, you just read it. Okay, no problem.
So it says higher IQ and improved academic performance, more accurate perception, improved creativity and problem solving, improved focus and memory, improved job satisfaction and job performance, faster reaction time, increased energy and endurance, and improved athletic performance. Well, yeah, absolutely. I put a tick in all of those boxes. And remember, I'm a lawyer, okay? The case rests on the evidence as far as I'm concerned. And then more balanced hormone function, improved immune functioning, improved cardiovascular functioning, including lower blood pressure and cholesterol levels. Yep. And then it's been very helpful for anybody who's sick, because it allows the body to take deep rest. It has an overall healing benefits. So whatever it might be that you've got can get massively better with meditation. And things like what's the stomach one? Irritable bowel syndrome, and all of these things that are known to be stress triggered can be massively helped by with a good mantra meditation. Well, there's one here that says total medical expenses reduced by 67%. I think this is coming out of the US. Yeah. Longevity, quality of life and longevity. Well, yes, I'm 71. I'm doing all right.
I was going to say, Sue, you're going to mention your age, because actually amazing. You look incredible.
Yeah. So anyway, but I won't go on and on about that. It gets all a bit tedious. Let me find my Zoom link again. I think this is back to you guys. Oh, the meeting has been ended by the host.
No, it hasn't.
No, it hasn't. Let's.
You're still alive.
Where are you? Let me find the other screen. This is what I say. It's playing games with me. If I pray, why is it not there? There must be. You see, there isn't a screen with your face in it either. Well, which means at this moment I'm not seeing you. Let's try that anyway. Yeah, I don't know. My Zoom's playing games, but you can. It's not that one. Okay.
Keep scrolling. You've probably got multiple screens, haven't you?
well, you see, I'm looking at the tabs along the top, and it's not shown. Oh. Anyway, we don't want to get too caught up in that.
No.
Sahaj.
You've got to imagine that you're seeing us anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, I can imagine.
A question at this point.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would love you to. Go ahead.
So I've taken part in the Breath to Health workshops, and I'm wondering, is there a connection with this meditation that you're talking about and that journey through the breath work that seems to take you into a meditative state, which is quite powerful?
They are complementary. In Sahaj, there is a limited amount of breath work. There's a preliminary and a post short breath work exercise. Well, Nadi Shodhana, you probably know it, alternate nostril breathing. But otherwise, it's not a breath work exercise, but it is utterly complementary to the breath work. The way it's explained is that we have 7 layers of existence. And I just touched on that just now without saying as much. So it's recognized that the human being has 7 different layers to their existence. And the first one is the body, which is a very clear level of existence. We have our body, our physicality. Then we have the mind, by which it means the automatic stuff that runs, the thoughts that pop up here and there and all the automatic things that are going on. The link between the body and the mind is recognized as being the breath, because whatever your emotion may be, the breath will change according to the emotion, and the emotion can change according to the breath. There's a biofeedback link that goes both ways. So no matter where you are in the world, if you're kind of frightened, it's a or if you're happy, it's a it's and it goes both ways, as I say, biofeedback. Then there's the so body, breath, mind, intellect, which is our conscious thinking, rational. Then there's the memory, all the stuff that we've laid down, all the things that we carry, all the memory. Then there is the ego, which is the sense of me, I, ego. It's not an arrogance thing. It's a sense of self. This is me as distinct from that. And babies, when they're born, don't have ego. They think mother and place and themselves, they're all one. Then suddenly they think, hang on a minute, no, this is me and that's something else. And that's when terrible twos come in, because they're exploring this ego. Hi, this is me and I can do whatever. Okay. And then finally, it's the self. So, and the self is this most subtle layer. So now your question was, what is the role, or what is the relationship, if you like, between breath and mantra meditation? Well, the answer is that they're both extremely beneficial, but they work on different levels of the human being, right? So it's the breath that is obviously supporting life and balancing that layer, and the mind and the body and blah blah, whereas the mantra meditation is very much one that gets to the deeper levels and to self. There may be other elements of the others creep in there as well, but they're two different processes out of the ancient Vedic system that support different layers. And so yoga, likewise, what's the role of yoga in this? Well, yoga is clearly body, but with the breath, that settles that element down and helps settle the mind. And there's an interplay here. Yes?
Mm.
So does that answer your question?
Yes, it seems that if you're saying that you're describing a lot of benefit from this meditation, it seems easier to do than the breath work. Is a lot of effort to get to that point. It seems there's a lot of these breathing exercises. I think it's about 20 minutes, but there's a counting. You have to count the breaths, and faster breaths and slower breaths, and but then you get to this state, a very deep kind of state of peace. I mean, I've experienced that in the workshops.
Yeah, it settles the system in a slightly different way. And yes, they can both take you to that space, but some days you might find that doing all of the breath work, somehow one day that will be just absolutely what you want, and another day you're just a bit, oh, can I really be doing all of this? Let me do something that's softer, you know. And you can relax into it, or do them in a combo. And so they both have their place and their part. They're not mutually exclusive. They're complementary, and you can play with them and find what works for you. And a lot of people will say, do the breathing. See, the breathing brings other benefits as well. So, for example, on a very physical level, the breathing really helps oxidate the body. And the body functions much better when it's got much more oxygen running through the system, because we're used to breathing in ordinary life, just in our upper part, the very shallow part of our lungs. And well, the analogy I use is you have a torch, for example. If it's running on a low battery, you get a kind of sick orange light, don't you? Whereas if you put in a new battery, it's a bright white light. Well, the body's a bit like that. The oxygen works a bit like the battery. If you're breathing correctly and you're getting maximum lung capacity and oxygenation, then the energy levels are really, really strong. But if we're just sedentary and doing whatever, very little, we're only breathing up here, and the oxygen in the lungs tends to get stale and stagnant, with the consequence that our battery is like the low one. We just get that dull orange light, right? So the breath work is really important for pure physiology, as well as what it can do with the balancing rhythms to settle the mind.
So there's another question I had. I know in transcendental meditation, there's a mantra that people are given, and it's like people are not allowed to tell their mantra to anyone else. It's a very individual thing.
Yes, that's the same applies here. The same applies. And let me, the reason is that which we keep silent within ourselves develops a power, an impact, right? If you've got some deep, dark secret and you keep it secret, you don't tell anybody, doesn't it build a toxic negative power and really bother you, right? Oh, and the relief, and then you let it, when you speak it out, that toxic power is gone. Well, of course, with the mantra, it's not a toxic power, it's a beneficial power. But the principle is similar. It helps to keep the potency, if I can put it that way, keeping it silent, not putting it out there, not speaking it out, helps with the subtle potency of the sound to function within your system on a beneficial level. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So I've got a question now, Sue, because there is obviously this is building up to talk about the course that we hope to run. I know whether it takes that time, that gestation period, to arrive at your own personalized mantra, because is it sort of
well, basically, I sort that out for you, obviously, and so I have I get to know you a little bit, and then we have then there is a special session when you are introduced to your mantra, and that's a one-to-one process. That initiation is a one-to-one process, just the two of us. So you can have several people on the course, but the initiation is individual. And that's on the first evening. So the structure of the course is that it's 3 sessions on 3 following days. Loosely speaking, 2.5 hours a session. The first one might be shorter depending on how many people there are, because obviously if there's 10 people to initiate, it takes longer than if there's 2 people to initiate. But the other 2 are about 2.5 hours, and in that time we have I deal with any questions, have a meditation, practice the meditation, cover some knowledge and explanations, so for clearer understanding of the whole process and that sort of thing. And it's some yoga stretches too, so it's a combo of that sort. And then we can have a follow-up session about a week later, so check in with everyone, and then I'm around if anyone has questions thereafter. It's easy enough to get a hold of me, or indeed any other Sahaj teacher, and ask questions about the practice, though only me in terms of any specific mantra related issues. Yeah.
So is the initiation process quite sort of secret in terms of how it's done, how you not interrogate, but just, pull out,
well, I'm not
strands of who you are and
well, yeah, it's subtle, and I'm not going to sit here and give you an intellectual explanation of how it's done. That some things have to be a mystery in life, don't they? We do so much like to feed our intellect the whole time, and it's really good once in a while to walk into mystery with open eyes and just say, right, bring it on, whatever, I'm up for this. In fact, life is walking into a mystery we think we know, but we don't half the time, and then we get surprises, and it can be uncomfortable. But yeah, so I'm not going to give you any intellectual explanation of that, I'm sorry to say.
That's perfectly fine. So Paul has joined us as well in the meantime, because obviously I don't know whether you got your screen back, Sue.
I haven't yet, because I don't want to spoil this by faffling on hunting around with
fine.
But it is a mystery to me. I'm going to have to explore where you've all gone. But there's certainly not up there on the tabs. Anyway, but we seem to be doing all right, yes? With or without me being able to see you?
Perfectly.
Okay, so hello, Paul.
Hi. Hello, Sue. I was thinking of a question for you, but I haven't formulated it distinctly enough yet.
Okay. Well, Fiona's been doing mighty well with questions, so we've done all right for those so far. But yeah, well, I think I've covered all that I would want to say, all I would hope to say with what I've said, because I think I've given an understanding of what the process is and how it works and its origins and its benefits. Yeah, is there anything you think I haven't covered?
Well, here's I believe it's a difficult question for you, just to see how you respond. At least it's a difficult question for me, verbally, although on a deeper level, I feel it's a very simple answer. But, like out there, in the media space of the digital wonderland that we share, there's all kinds of meditation offerings and applications like Insight and Headspace and Sattva, other ones. And there's all kinds of people who claim to be meditation teachers. I'm sorry to put that in such a slightly negative thing, saying that people claim to be meditation teachers, but it's true. And how, if at all, would you or could you discriminate the Sahaj induction, the Sahaj training, given that reality, if you will? That's sort of my question.
Well, the thing with Sahaj is it really has a proven lineage from thousands of years through, from the wisdom of the Vedic ancient rishis. And it's only actually been made available to the general public in the last few generations. I think Maharishi and one or two of the other yogis who were teaching in the 20th century, this was completely new and had been unspoken to the world generally. So basically, this comes through from a really tried and tested tradition of absolute masters. And these guys really know what they're talking about, and they do incredibly intense, initiation and development and so on and so forth. So look, I can't comment on any other practices and the people, and it wouldn't be appropriate for me to do so. But I could observe that many of them have much less of a background and a lineage. And the thing about this is it's authentic. It is completely authentic from back the way. And there are a lot of people playing out there who think they know, but don't necessarily. Of course, there are a lot of people out there who do know. So I don't want to be us and only us. So there's that. And then I tell you something that I did once, which was really extraordinary, was I actually, Deepak Chopra, he's very well known and very impressive. But for those who've not heard of Deepak Chopra, he is an Indian gentleman who's a mainstream qualified medical doctor. And he was around with Maharishi back in the day, as was Sri Ravi Shankar, for that matter, who is the head of the Art of Living organization. He sort of developed a whole very much medicalized approach to meditation, and his stuff is incredibly interesting. But what I did anyway, this particular session in the evening, he said, right, well, would you like to meditate? What I'm going to do is take you through all the different kinds of meditation. So he took us through, feeling tension on different parts of the body, sitting silently, visualizing, chanting, and all of these different approaches that there can be. And what he explained was, I mean, at the end, I was absolutely out of my brains. It was, wow, what was that? But what he explained was, and I don't remember the technical ins and outs, was that each of the different forms of meditation had a different mind-body benefit. So a visualize, you go on a journey and all this will have one effect on the mind-body structure. And then a focusing on an organ will have another, and a mantra will have a third, and simple silence will have yet another. And so they all have their own particular roles. And yeah, so they have their part to play, which is why within the Art of Living organization, we also use a number of different kinds of meditation, because they all carry their benefits. But the thing with the Sahaj Samadhi is it is the mantra meditation. And you need it because it's personal and silent. It's not something that you would do online in that way. Yes, it's something that you do with yourself. Does that answer your question, Paul?
Yeah, that was fascinating as well. Thanks a lot, sir. Appreciate you.
That's all right. No, my pleasure.
What does samadhi actually mean?
Oh, samadhi is a pure vision of the self, who you truly are, the essence of self. And Sahaj is effortless. So it's an effortless, because that's actually something I haven't said, isn't it? It's an effortless technique. It's the art of doing nothing, wanting nothing, being nothing. It's effortless. You don't have to work to focus on this. You don't have to think to follow a story. It's utterly, profoundly effortless. So it's an effortless journey, if you like, to experience your purest essence. Yep.
So you talked about the benefit within a day, how it can help you through the day. Have you personally felt like a transformative effect beyond that, the content of the day?
Absolutely. When you're the problem, basically, I've always been a great fan of surfing. I've never done it myself, but I love the surfing analogy. Is that, you know how surfers, they need to be in the zone to be able to catch that wave and ride it and go down onto the beach. They need to be truly relaxed in a very Zen sort of way to be able to surf. But if they're in their head and they're trying to, they just crash and roll, don't they? Not crash and burn, crash and roll. And the thing is, with the meditation, what you do is, by going for 20 minutes twice a day into this deeper level of self, you settle down into these deeper layers, right? And the more the mind and the system becomes familiar with settling into here, the more in consciousness we are in this space. So the more relaxed we are, the more, if you like, instinctively insightful we are, the more attuned, the more things in life flow easily. And they really do. I'm not just saying it, they really do. And the more we release our tension, each day you let this tension out, the more we're relaxed into life, the more we cope with life situations. So whether you cope with something effectively in life, it depends very much on your mindset, right? So if you're stressed and anxious and tense and low energy, you get another problem comes on along, you're likely to mess it up, because you just go and say the wrong thing and do the wrong thing, and it's just But if you are more settled and coming from a more settled, much less stressed space, then you're much more likely to respond effectively and intelligently to the situation, and thus life becomes easier. And again, this isn't theory. It really, really does.
So it's like you're building new patterns.
Yes, that's right. And the body's much more healthy. Your immune system gets stronger for sure. If you're much more relaxed, less stress, you don't catch cold or flu so often. Everything runs better. The body's running better as well because, well, that's going in a different direction. Forget that. Scrub that. But yeah, it's like I say, it really does do what it says I was on the tin. I couldn't believe it, how much easier and better and more smiley life is. So you see, the Indian gentleman that heads up this Art of Living Foundation, he's Sri Ravi Shankar. His life mission is to put a smile on every face. He wants people, he can see what life could be for everybody, and he can see what it is that blocks that, prevents that drags people down, that gives them their troubles, that sort of takes the smile away. And so his exercises to bring the different approaches and techniques and wisdom and such like out there to give people a skill set to keep the smile come what may. So it's the skill. He's teaching the skill for the fundamental art of living, which is to somehow navigate it all and keep smiling. That's the art.
I think that's a perfect note to finish on, don't you? Unless anybody else has got one more burning question. And of course, with regard to this course that we've been touching upon, that's something that Thriving Communities does want to host here in South Wales. We've yet to finalise some dates with Sue, but please keep a lookout on our website at thrivingcommunitiescic.org.
It looks very likely to be the second weekend in September,
Okay.
Likely the Friday evening, Saturday morning, Sunday morning. I haven't got the dates in my head, but it's something like, is it the 9th? Hold on, I can look at the calendar. Hold on, September. So the Friday is the 12th. Right, we go. Probably the 12th to 14th.
That's not so good for me. I'm on a Slovenia retreat from that weekend. So,
right,
yeah.
Well, as things stand, I'm busy the weekend before,
yeah.
And then I'm going to India the week after. Unless, what dates? What are your dates, then, Esther?
We're flying out on the I think it was the 12th, and we're coming back on the 18th, 17th. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm crazy busy. Well, look, those dates we've got penciled in.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I'm only one person, so but there's I know a few others that on that retreat, like Mel as well. But but obviously there'll be others that be interested, and we can possibly run it again next year as well.
Yeah. If other options come up, like something cancels that I've got on the other weekends, I'll shout straight away.
Okay.
Frankly, I wouldn't mind that weekend back, but it gets too complicated if you mess people around. You don't stay sane. Nobody stays sane. But so let's see how we go anyway. Yeah.
No problem. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Sue. It's been really, really interesting. And I think a lot of questions that I had in my head were answered, and really, really explained it quite effortlessly, I might say. Only the Sahaj Samadhi way. Sahaj way.
Proof of the pudding.
Exactly. No matter where you are, even in where you are located at the moment.
Yeah, sitting in my van with you on the table and a dodgy signal and the Zoom link's gone.
But totally unflustered and forever the accomplished professional.
Well, if I can help with anything else, just give me a shout. Or if somebody was interested but has questions, or whatever, you know, I can be flexible. I'm busy, but I can be flexible for bits and bobs here and there. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, lovely. Well, thank you very much. And I'm sure the others are very, very grateful for you to give your time to explain this to us and our community. Thank you.
Okay,
Yes,
right.
thank you, Sue.
Right then.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Hope to see you in September.
Thanks.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.